crowd will weigh my decision against them. So I ask you, we know how passionate you are. We love that. But if you hold them up, people behind you cannot see. It's rude. Somebody's eye can get poked out.
Oh, man. Somebody's eye can get poked out.
Important discussion we need to have. So are you ready to have that discussion? Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael McMahon, and I have never been prouder to be your representative in Congress, and I stand here tonight and see how many of you are out here to talk passionately about an issue that is of deep concern to you. Now, to start our program, here's what I'd like to do first. Are there any veterans in the room here tonight? I'd ask you to please stand. We will now have a lovely student from Patrides, Alexandra Mazzucchelli, to come sing the national anthem for us. Alexandra, you ready?
Stripes and bright stars, they're the player who us fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets right there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You know, this is the greatest country in the world, and one of the great rights we have is freedom of speech. And we are celebrating that tonight, and right now there are over 160,000 men and women wearing the uniform of our armed services. Just this past weekend, 6 lost their lives in Afghanistan. 8 lost their lives in Afghanistan. Let's take a moment of silence to send a strong prayer to their families and for safe return of all those other men and women.
God bless our troops.
Please be seated. Thank you. Coming to our town hall meeting tonight to talk about the issue presented by healthcare. I just want to give you a few guidelines how we'll proceed, and then we're going to do a short PowerPoint presentation and then open up the microphones to hear your comments. There are 4 microphones located around the auditorium. If you wish to ask a question or make a brief comment, please proceed microphone most readily accessible to you. Due to time constraints and the size of the crowd, we are limiting all questions and comments to 2 minutes. I'll be taking questions evenly from among the 4 microphones throughout the evening. Before asking your question or commenting, I ask that you please identify yourself and what part of the district you are from. Please remember to respect the opinions of our friends and neighbors. Please refrain from yelling, shouting, or using profanity. I know that would be a problem. We will do our best to see that everyone is heard here tonight. And please refrain from waving the signs or the props. As you can see, they're insightful and it's dangerous, and we ask you not to do that. And lastly, if possible, if a question is directly asked, please not to repeat that same one, but you can certainly state your opinion. We've asked some panelists to come and join us tonight to help answer questions or provide information, and I'd like to introduce them to you before I begin with PowerPoint. We have Richard Murphy, who's the President and CEO of Richmond University Medical Center. We have Dr. Mark Jarrett, Chief Medical Officer, Staten Island University Hospital. We have Mr. Jim Powell, Vice President for Patient Care, Staten Island University Hospital. We have Carmine Morano, who is a health insurance executive. We have Nancy Rooney, who is a registered nurse and is with the New York State Nurses Association. And we have Dr. Vincent Calamia, MD, President of the Richmond County Medical Society. So if I could ask you to bring your attention to the panel above me, and let's just go over a few things about the issues that are being debated. America's healthcare crisis, I think one thing we know is that the status quo is unsustainable. The need for health reform is urgent and indisputable. Reforming healthcare is very important, but we need to get it right. Regarding America's healthcare crisis, the U.S. spends, and these are, I know that there's a back and forth on the facts and who's right or wrong, but I think these facts are pretty much given by all. The U.S. spends more on healthcare than any other nation. It is estimated that the U.S. will be spending $1 out of $5 on healthcare by 2015. Americans are losing their health insurance at a rate of 14,000 people every day. Costs continue to rise faster than inflation. Since 1987, the cost of the average family health insurance policy has more than doubled, from 7% of median family income to 17% in 2009. And since 2000 alone, per capita premiums have doubled and are projected to double again in the next 10 years. This graph shows the difference between well, this is a very interesting graph. As you know, this is not the first time that America talked about healthcare reform. President Nixon did it, President Carter did it, President Clinton did it. This graph shows, the 3 lines show, the top graph, the top line shows what the cost of health insurance are now, the expenses. The second one below it shows that if President Clinton's plan had been enacted with a 1.5%, only that per year, decline in expenses, that's how much less we would be spending. And these 2 bottom ones are very interesting, because they show if President Carter or President Nixon's plan had been enacted, we'd be spending that much less money on healthcare and basically be delivering the same product. That, again, it shows only shows what the cost. It shows the cost, but it doesn't necessarily show the difference.